Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Cuba rolls out its 90% efficacy COVID-19 vaccine, Abdala. This story takes the lead in our 1145th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 2nd July 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world? And you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. Cuba's outstanding healthcare reputation has received another boost with the rolling out of a very successful vaccine named Abdala. The highly effective vaccine is soon expected to receive the approval of the World Health Organization and is one of the number of COVID-19 vaccines developed on the socialist Caribbean island. Stanley Lucian of HTS News Force reports.
With about half a dozen of COVID-19 vaccines developed, Cuba is now rolling out its most successful, the Abdala vaccine, which has an efficacy rate of 92.28%, rivaling the best Western countries have on offer. The president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Merle Clark, welcomes that development, particularly given Cuba's commitment to share its successes with the region and, indeed, the wider world.
We are happy, we're elated, in fact, that they have this very successful vaccine candidate, and we look forward to being able to receive vaccines from them one way or the other. And we continue to encourage and to urge our fellow citizens here in St. Lucia to get vaccinated.
Dr. Merle Clark notes that many St. Lucians who are skeptical about the use of the vaccines on offer, particularly because of the use of the latest mRNA technology, have stated their willingness to take the Cuban vaccine, which uses neither the mRNA nor the vector approach.
We understand that there are some people who trust more the Cuban healthcare system in a sense and trust more the Cuban vaccine. And in as much as in a sense is pushing the goalpost, because we've always said and we maintain that the best vaccine is the vaccine that you have available to you. What we know for sure is that vaccines prevent serious illness, hospitalization, and death. And that is exceedingly important. So be it the Cuban candidate, be it the AstraZeneca that we have now, be it Moderna, Pfizer, whichever one is available to you, you should take the opportunity to get vaccinated so hospitals don't become overrun and our healthcare system does not collapse, because we've seen what COVID can do to the most robust healthcare systems, and we will concede that our healthcare system is fragile.
The SLMDA's president says the trust in the Cuban healthcare system is based on its outstanding record of assisting particularly less developed nations, both in the training of medical professionals and in assisting the healthcare programs.
Cuba, as we all know, has done more to help develop the healthcare system, not only in St. Lucia, but the rest of the Caribbean and many countries around the world, more so than any other industrialized country. And they've done that under an embargo, which they had to be living with for more than half a century. We hope that this vaccine will very soon receive the seal of approval, the stamp of approval from the World Health Organization. Cuba, of course, because of the close relationship, the close ties they have with Venezuela, they have donated some of it to Venezuela to start vaccinating the healthcare workers, and they certainly will be exporting to Venezuela. Is somewhat of a priority for them, based on my understanding of speaking to our sources in Cuba. But certainly, the hope is to be able to provide Latin America and the Caribbean with vaccines.
The St. Lucia medical community is hoping that the advent of the COVID-19 vaccine and its expected availability will mark a turning point in the effort to get sufficient number of residents vaccinated, allowing for the elusive target of herd immunity to be at least within touching distance. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.
Meanwhile, while capacity in the parallel healthcare system, which was set up to treat the COVID-19 virus, is increasing in Trinidad and Tobago, the space for those requiring intensive care is extremely limited. TV6's Alicia Boucher has more in this report.
The expansion of the parallel healthcare system, which has occurred over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, including during the aggressive wave which began in April, has resulted in there being more capacity, now that daily cases are on a slow decline. Principal Medical Officer of Institutions, Dr. Miriam Abdul-Richard says, on average, daily admissions for those requiring hospitalization are now around 20 to 24 people.
Today's occupancy overall is at 51%. Trinidad and Tobago's occupancy is 54%. And this has represented a decline or a general decline that we have been noting from or about the 1st of June 2021. It's been a very slow decline, but there has been a decline that has been noted.
According to Dr. Richards, the overall capacity at ward level is 48%, broken down into 52% for Trinidad and 21% for Tobago. The intensive care and high dependency units accommodate patients who are severely ill, while at the HDU, the capacity in TNT is at 59%. Dr. Richards says space in the ICU is very limited.
At the ICU level of care, which is where our most ill patients go, those who require ventilation, they require dialysis support, and so on. The ICU capacity overall in Trinidad and Tobago is at 90%. But in Trinidad, 98% of our beds are filled.
This is as a result of a trend seen in the past few months, where patients have been recorded as becoming more seriously ill because of COVID-19. Transitioning beds at the ward and HDU levels to ICU level on a needs basis has been a strategy used by the Ministry of Health to deal with any lack of space for the critically ill. These ICU beds require the necessary equipment and medical staff. So, is there an ability to create more capacity?
We do still have possibly about 20 to 30 ventilators in storage that can be commissioned and used immediately. There's also the need for the ventilators, the monitors that go along with the bed, what other equipment such as syringe pumps and infusion pumps. And I can confirm that all of these equipment and staffing is available if we needed to convert and transition beds.
Dr. Richards says any decision to remove any of the 16 facilities designated for COVID-19 care is to be done on a policy level, but so far, no such directive has been given. More than 212,000 people have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and over 80,000 are now fully vaccinated. Dr. Richards says the ministry is still calculating the figures in terms of percentage for the vaccinated population under Phase 1, where the 65-plus age group and those under 65 with comorbidities were targeted. When more vaccines are acquired, more people would become eligible to get their jabs.
We will be targeting other groups. So, for example, there would be vulnerable populations, such as the persons who are disabled.
The Ministry of Health continues to urge citizens to follow the public health guidelines to prevent further spread of the virus. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
An opposition member of parliament in Guyana has been detained and questioned by the police regarding a post on her social media page which is said to be damaging to a member of the defense force. Gordon Mosley of Newsroom Guyana reports.
Member of Parliament for the opposition APNU-AFC coalition, Annette Ferguson, has denied making a Facebook post that is part of a police investigation into an alleged cybercrime. Ms. Ferguson was arrested and questioned by the police this morning after a report was filed against her by a senior officer of the Guyana Defense Force, Colonel Omar Khan. The GDF officer is alleging that Ferguson shared a post about an alleged killing squad, which linked him to the squad. The post, he complained, caused him embarrassment. Ferguson was released on self-bail after being questioned by the police in the presence of her attorney Lyndon Amsterdam. She denied the allegations. The police said the matter is still under investigation. In an interview this afternoon, the opposition member of parliament explained that she was first contacted through her lawyer and asked to visit the CID headquarters for questioning. She said she complied with the request today.
The police, they conducted their investigations. They asked me a few questions, of which I responded. They showed me a post. They asked whether I have this post on my Facebook account. I said no. They asked to see the phone. I showed them the phone. The last set of posts made on the 15th of June 2021. They did not see the actual article that they shared with me concerning, whatever with Mr. Khan. They took copies of my last set of postings for June the 15th. And they released me on my own recognizance, stating that the matter is being investigated further.
Ms. Ferguson said her arrest and questioning are clearly political and politically motivated. She explained that the police examined her phone and her Facebook account and could not find the post that was allegedly shared.
For me, I see this as one, harassment, victimization, and most importantly, political harassment. Because, I am doing my political activism and I try not to get into the way of people. My whole focus is to represent those who I have been placed to represent in the National Assembly. And if we ask questions in the National Assembly and we don't, by right, we owe it to the people to let them know exactly what was actually discussed in the National Assembly. So I see this whole action by the Guyana Police Force is one of political victimization.
The opposition member of parliament who recently won a defamation suit against Vice President Barra Jagdeo believes that the government is using the cybercrime legislation to go after its critics. Her attorney Lyndon Amsterdam told News Source that the arrest and questioning of the opposition MP appears to be an ongoing cycle in the country. And in a statement this afternoon, opposition leader Joe Harmon condemned the arrest of the member of parliament. He accused the government of using the police force to persecute its political opponents while disregarding the law. The opposition leader said all right-thinking Guyanese, local and international human rights bodies and civil society groups should condemn what he considers dictatorial and authoritarian acts of political persecution by the incumbent administration.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.